Hello and welcome to my in-depth guide on runes. The first thing you want to do is go to store, gameplay, because obviously runes affect the gameplay, and then choose tier 2 runes, and you want to buy all the tier 2 runes because they cost only 1 AP. Then you head over to tier 3 runes, and you want to buy the most common type of runes. For marks, that's attack damage and magic penetration. For glyphs, magic resist. For seals, armor, and for quintessences, ability power and attack damage. So as you can see, these runes have 50% off because this is like the basics of the runes you need. Then you must know that each type of rune has its own strengths and weaknesses. For example, glyphs are really good for magic resist and seals are really good for armor and not vice versa. Now we're gonna talk about why do you need runes in the first place. So first of all, they give you advantage, and you must know that runes can be used for early advantage, late game advantage, and runes that work good throughout the whole game. Example of early game runes for, let's say, an AD carry, you wanna get some attack damage, so you will be able to last hit easier and have a bit more damage early game, but as the game goes on, after you buy a BF sword and other attack damage items, the bonus you get from these runes drops significantly when you enter mid or late game, even after the purchase of BF sword. Then we have the late game runes. Usually these runes will give you stats per level and they max up at level 18. Or for example, if we take critical damage runes, obviously they will have the most effect as soon as you start building critical chance, so they are really good in the late game. And then we have runes that are good through the course of all the game. For example, movement speed runes, lifesteal and spell vamp runes, cold runes, critical chance, etc. So it really depends whether you want to dominate the early game, be stronger in the late game, or just have runes that are useful at any stage of the game. Each champion benefits from different runes depending on his kit. For example, Jhin, he has a reloading mechanism, so you may want to get lethality on him instead of attack damage, unless you have trouble with last hitting. And someone like Corki may use either lethality or attack damage, or mixed damage if you're going for a mixed build, or even attack speed if you want to make an attack speed Corki build, and so on and so on. So this really depends highly on the champion you're playing, on your playstyle, on what champions the enemies take, and whether you want to be stronger early, late, or have some good stats throughout the whole battle. So Veigar is a really good example. You do not need any ability power runes on him because he stacks ability power indefinitely, so you may take whatever runes you want, whatever is comfortable for you, what you want to play him. If you want to go full mayhem on your enemies, you can take 20 magic penetration on your runes, you can take defensive runes if you want, but basically ability power runes on Veigar are really bad because you will have more ability power than your enemy sooner or later anyways. I personally like taking 1% critical strike chance on champions, because really one extra rune won't help you if you have already 8 of them, but crits really do help. So in this example I have 0.5% critical strike chance, so it's considered as 1% because it rounds up. Same example we have here, 4.7 attack damage, so that makes 5 attack damage. For example, I personally like taking lots of attack speed on my runes for AD carry, just because I'm more comfortable with that. Also interesting note, you can get 20% critical chance if you get all your runes for crit, and that means you can get one extra item instead of buying the fourth one for 100% crit. So for example, in what case do you want to have armor seals? You may go for attack speed seals or whatever other seals. To be honest, having 9 armor doesn't really help you a lot because you will take, let's say, 1-2% less damage. So to be honest, armor is not very effective just because you will take 1 or 2% less damage having these armor seals, unless the enemy has armor penetration, and then if you don't have any armor seals, this may make a difference. Or unless you're a tank and you're going full armor like 20 or more armor on your runes, then that's gonna be effective. Also, you need to know that the more resist you have, the less they're effective. For example, 30 magic resist will give you, let's say, something like 25% magic resistance. When you have 100 magic resist or armor, you will have 50% damage reduction. If you have 200, you will not have 100% damage reduction. You will have like 60 or 70% damage reduction. So you see that the more resists you have, the less effective they are. Also, you need to know that health is a really good defensive option because it protects you not only from physical damage but also from magical damage. And spells like Ignite will less likely to kill you if you have more health, because armor and magic resist won't help you at all because Ignite deals true damage. So health per level seals is a really good option. For example, you're a mid laner, you take magic resist glyphs and then you take health per level seals, so that gives you quite a good protection versus magic damage. And I would like to say this one time, please remember, percent increased health runes are really bad. I've done some calculations. Increased health runes are effective only when you have tons, and I mean tons, of health. For example, 4,000, 5,000 or even more. I recommend you getting health per level runes. They're 100% better than the increased health runes. Never buy this, never ever. Unless you're playing Scion, you're level 18, you have 1000 bonus health stacked and you have 6 Varmogs on, then this rune may be effective. But 99% of the time, health per level are much better. So when you're building your rune page, you have to decide whether you want to burst your enemy or survive longer and so on. If you want to survive, you can take lifesteal or spell vamp runes. If you're playing someone like Katarina, you obviously want to get ability power or magic penetration. I'm gonna say this again, runes highly depend on the champion you select, your team composition, enemy team composition, your playstyle, and at what stage of the game you want to benefit from them. So basically, there are no best runes for a particular champion. You just get what is comfortable for you and what you think is best. I'll give you some good examples. For example, I like to have 40% attack speed if I'm playing Twitch. If you're playing someone like Jinx, you do not need attack speed because she has built-in attack speed in her kit and a very large one on her minigun. So you may want to take runes that benefit her more, for example, attack damage and lethality, or lifesteal, or even attack damage. So like I said, it highly depends on the champion, on your playstyle. If you're playing someone like support and you're a passive support, you may want to take gold per 10 seconds. If you are an aggro AP support, you may want to take ability power and magic penetration. If you're a tank, you get resists, maybe movement speed, depending if you need it. If you are solo on your lane, for example, you're mage and facing another mage, you can get magic resist and health per level to take less damage, or you may want to get spell vamp and cooldowns to heal the poke damage from your enemy, or go full penetration for tons of damage and late game. If you are playing in the jungle, you may take attack speed instead of resist, because the faster you kill jungle monsters, the less damage you take. Also, you may take movement speed if you are going to roam a lot and you need it, or you may take spell vamp and lifesteal to survive longer. So basically this wraps up my guide on runes. Like the video if you found this helpful, dislike if you don't, share it with other people, and feel free to comment down below if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, have a nice day.